This theme from Animal Crossing almost feels like it's yelling at you to go to bed. How does it do that? Well, it kind of does it by being sarcastic. By being just annoying enough that it's like, hey, why are you still here? How can music do that? Is there a way that music in and of itself can literally be sarcastic? What would that even sound like? Well, in the case of Animal Crossing New Horizons, it very well just might be the 3 a.m. theme. Okay, well, if ever there was a piece of sarcastic music, this is kind of it. First of all, let's take note of what's going on underneath the entire thing, and that is literally a ticking clock. Listen to this. It's underneath the entire thing. It almost sounds like if you have like a little clock by your bed at night when you're sleeping. That's the sound. But okay, so there's a few things that just make up this theme, and honestly, I think it's kind of brilliant. It's so simple. It only consists of a couple of pieces. First of all, we have this bass line. That's kind of it. And then the trombone line that kind of repeats it. But it has this, I'm pretty sure, is that it's gotta be a plunger mute. It sounds like a plunger mute. A trombone with a plunger mute is kind of just a hilarious instrument already, just by its very nature. Right, so we set up, it's almost hilarious to break this down harmonically, but I want to do it because it's this further proof that something that is dead simple can say so much. That's kind of the whole point of why we break down things that are sometimes incredibly simple. So what we've already seen here is that this bass line is just outlining a B major 6 chord. That's all there is to it. And then what we get is this nice little turnaround. And it's almost funny because yes, the nature of this is humorous. Yes, it's funny, but it is just really nice the way that it's written, the way that the bass and the guitar work together. Check this out. We get this line in the bass that goes, and then with that, there are 2 lines in the guitar that we need to pay attention to. The bottom one just goes B, A sharp, B. Tell me that's not the most like, here, we're done sounding line that you've ever heard in your life. That is quintessential leading tone. That's it. That's all she wrote, right? But then with it, we get this. Why does that matter? Because check this out. There's this thing, and we've talked about it before on this channel. The most important notes of any chord are what? Let's take a look. If we just have a regular C major triad, well, what are the important notes? Well, the root, obviously, I mean, it is a C chord, so yes, you could say the root is definitely very important, but does the root tell us anything other than what we're basing the chord on? Not really. We know it's a C chord, but it doesn't tell us whether that chord is major or minor or anything else. It doesn't contain any of that information. What about the 5th? Okay, well, you know, it's a nice bit of harmony. It has a nice sort of rub to it, but it really still doesn't tell us a whole lot about what it is that we're actually listening to. It doesn't have any qualities of minor or major, and it certainly doesn't have any qualities beyond that when we start talking about 4-note chords, right? This note is kind of the most important note of any chord because it is the note that tells us that essential piece of information. Is this chord minor or is this chord major? If it's major, we get this normally occurring third if we were to play the major scale. And if it's minor, all we have to do is take that one note and move it down by a half step to get a flat 3, we call it, right? And that changes the whole chord immediately. Now, this is very clearly, it's a much darker chord. We sometimes associate minor with like sad, but we can very clearly hear the difference by changing a single note. It goes from this to this. Listen to those 2. There is no mistaking one for the other, and all we changed was one note. So that third, whether it's a major third or a flat 3 like right here, this is the most important note of the chord. But there is still a lot of information that we don't know about the chord, and this is where we're going to draw it back to what's going on in the guitar part of 3 a.m. I bet you didn't think there was this much to talk about inside of this kind of sarcastic piece of music that's just yelling at you to go to bed. But there is, and I swear, we're gonna get to it. So if we start adding more information to this chord, we get 1, 3, 5, but now we can use a 4-note chord. And that next piece of information is going to be our 7th. Now there's a lot of options that we can generate just by 2 of these notes. Now we said it's not the root. Yes, the root is important, of course, because it tells us what chord we're literally playing. But we established the 5th doesn't really carry any information at all. It almost is kind of inconsequential. We could get rid of it, and we'd still have, for the most part, this sound of C major 7. Because the 2 notes that matter the most, we said that the 3rd is the most important. It tells us whether it's minor or major. But on top of that, that 7th is going to carry a whole other piece of information. When we use the major 7th from the major scale, we get a major 7 chord. Now, let's start changing things and see what happens. What if we make this chord minor, but we leave the 7th where it is? Whoa, we get that sound. That's a really interesting sound. This happens to be called C minor major 7. It's a mouthful, but that's exactly what we call it. C minor major 7. It is a minor chord with a major 7th. What if we drop that 7th down and make it minor or flat? We get this chord, which is C minor 7. Totally different sound. Now listen to those two. Completely different sound, right? What if we make this major again, but we leave that flat 7 where it is? Now we get C7. I don't know why this is, but whenever you see just a 7 on any chord, it is automatically assumed to be the flat 7. Now the reason that's weird is because we have to actually denote if we want a major 7th. You would think that because the major scale naturally has the major 7th in it, that wouldn't require any alteration. But that's just not quite how it works. We actually have to say when we want a major 7. Why might that be? Well, it has to do with the harmonic overtone series, and that might be for another video. But we know that we can change stuff and get this C7 chord with a major 3rd and a flat 7. Just based on the position of the 3rd and the 7th, we can find out a whole lot about any chord. And that is exactly what they leveraged to tell a complete harmonic story in only a couple of notes. In Animal Crossing, we have this. That right there is actually full of harmonic information. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but check it out. The first chord we have, the only notes that the guitar is playing are the 3rd and the 7th. Let's break down how that works. We have a C sharp in the bass, okay? And so if we have a C sharp, well, let's play a C sharp major chord. So we know that the major 3rd is this, it's F. I'm playing the key F, but in this key, technically this is E sharp. I know that's also stupid, but that's what it is, okay? So we're getting into music theory here. Okay, so this E sharp, feels dumb saying that, this E sharp is the major 3rd. Well, we have that as the top note in the guitar. Well, the other note that we're playing is B, and B happens to be the flat 7th of C sharp. So when we play these 2 notes, we tell the complete story of this chord. We don't need anything else. We don't need a 5th. We don't need that note. All we need is the root, the 3rd, and the 7th. Now, when we change it, watch this. We're simply going to go, and we're going to move each of these notes down a half step and watch what happens when we change our bass note. We are doing the exact same thing now. We are only playing the 3rd. Now we're on F sharp. We're playing F sharp's major 3rd and its flat 7th. And when we do that, we get the complete chord. We don't need any other information. This is what's beautiful about the 3rd and the 7th of any chord. Check it out. We have C sharp 7, F sharp 7, and then we're just gonna get a resolution to B major. Okay, so that was a lot to explain, and I know we're only talking about the first part of this Animal Crossing theme, but it's an important thing to understand about chords. There's only 2 notes you need to tell everything pretty much that you really need to know about any chord. The 3rd and the 7th. Remember it. There's our clock again. Tell me that's not sarcastic. I mean, it's literally like, hey, how badly can I play this to get your attention? Because you've been up way too long. You gotta get up for school in the morning. What are you doing? It is 3 a.m. Get off the game. There's our bass line again. Yeah. It tells the whole story. It leaves nothing to the imagination. We know exactly what that is supposed to say. Yeah. So that section right there is also really nice. Yeah. Check that out. This is like minimalism in composition at its finest. We have an E in the bass. Well, what story are we gonna tell with that? Right? We need to add some harmonic context. Can we use the guitar for that? Sure we can, because listen to this. It painted it's the whole chord. It's the whole chord. E, major 7, 5th, major 3rd. There is our E major 7 chord. That's it. All we needed is one bass note and then literally just make the melody line in the guitar the actual notes of the chord, and you don't need any more information at all. Listen to the next chord. Oh, okay, wait. Okay. That is, there's more in this than you think. Here again, we go with our root and our 3rd and our 7th. This is A, and we have our major 3rd in A and our flat 7. These are all dominant chords, right? But look what our melody does right after this. We go. We add a D sharp, and when we add a D sharp to A7, we get A7 with a sharp 11. Now, if we were to build that chord out and make something big and beautiful, it's a gorgeous chord. So we don't need to build it out because we can literally just use the melody. And then the next note, more 3 and 7 in the guitar part. There's our minor 3rd and our flat 7 of G sharp to make a G sharp minor 7 chord. This is just so smart. The writing is so smart, and it's all in a joke. That's what I can't get over about this. It's like, it's this sarcastic theme that is yelling at you to go to bed. It's absolutely genius. Writing music is a joke. It's not the thing you really think about all that much, but that's what this really feels like. And I mean, when you contrast that, I mean, this is not a new thing. So, well, for example, the 2 a.m. Animal Crossing, we're still getting that tick-tock in the background, but this is so different. This is so, oh, is that the theme? Oh, that's so nice. But point being, and I could sit here and break this down because there's so much going on in here as well, but the difference is that in 2 a.m., it almost sounds more like you would expect a 2 a.m. theme to sound like. If you were fast asleep and everything's nice and blah, 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 right? You're gonna hear this more ethereal, calm, kind of maybe a little more reverb, a little more piano like we hear in this one. That's kind of expected, not... Not that! I don't know what you expect, but it's definitely not that. And you know what? This isn't even necessarily a new idea. If we go back to the GameCube version of Animal Crossing, all the way back in 2001, we get something that sounds like this at 3 a.m. Is that like a bass clarinet or something? Very minimal again, but still not the sort of calm, ethereal vibe that you might expect at 3 a.m. Ooh! That bass line is like almost kind of I don't know, kind of dark in a way, right? This has been used in the past, like this idea of the 3 a.m. theme being a little bit, you know, sarcastic in a way. If you can describe music that way, I think this is a good way to look at it. But by contrast, I want to take a look very quickly at the 3 a.m. theme from Wild World, because check this out. Check that out. Woo! This one to me feels different. It's a little more settled. It's not quite as minimalist and jolty. Like, I don't know, the other ones at 3 a.m. kind of feel like there's a lot of silence, and where's the sound gonna... Oh, there's a trombone with a plunger. But I think that the effect is pretty clear. It's like Animal Crossing is yelling at you to go to sleep. And I think it's really cool to look at how we can use such little harmonic information to tell a much larger story. Specifically, just using the 3rd and the 7th of almost every single chord. We almost don't even get any other information throughout the entire theme. But if you know how to use the 3rd and the 7th correctly, that is what you can do with very, very little instrumentation. It's brilliant writing, and I would expect nothing less from the Animal Crossing games. I just want to share that little tidbit with you, and if you're watching this at 3 a.m., go to bed. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.